What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. It is PJ Wessels here with another episode of AMID. Oh my gosh, episode number 26. Oh my gosh, I'm getting close to 30. That's such a big number. Anyway, to start it off, happy Monday, and I apologize for the camera issues. For some reason, my camera was causing problems with my software that I was using, and it was dropping frames a lot. Like every fourth or fifth frame would come through. So, not great. But we are still up, and I have thrown together a Google slide presentation because I don't have PowerPoint on my computer, and that's okay. And I don't need to get it anyway. So we'll just do it with this. Anyway, happy Monday, everybody. I'm making sure I've got everything up that I need, which I think I do now, so that's good. But how was everybody's weekend? What did everybody do? Mackenzie, I hope the virtual graduation ceremony, I guess, went well. We all got the email from Sheila about Kevin's daughter being born. It looks like everything went well there. I'm happy to hear about that. What else? What else did everybody do this weekend? I don't want to just dive into what I did because, well, that's boring. Mackenzie does say that the graduation was really fun. That's good. Yeah, graduation is always interesting, and hopefully it's like, well, you're not dependent upon the weather. Thinking about my college graduation back in 2015. Oh gosh, I'm so old. It's like planning to be out in the football field. It was going to be great. It had been sunny like the day before, like the week leading up to it had been great. It's in May. May term had been wonderful. It pours. It starts pouring at like 8:30 or something, and poured like the whole day. So that wasn't great. So we had our graduation ceremony in the field house on the fun composite material that I had winter tennis practice on before we could go outside. So, I mean, it was still a very nice ceremony, but not nearly as fun as being outside in the sunlight and stuff. Now, this was much less exciting, but glad to hear that went well. I did help Reese move the last of his stuff out of his apartment in Des Moines. Did that Saturday morning. That was fun and exciting. Turns out in the lobby of his apartment building, which is Flux in downtown Des Moines on Walnut, I think, there's a giant rhino head that is like painted gold. I'm guessing it's a fake. It's a fake rhino head and stuff, but it's a big like rhino head, like neck and head and horns and stuff, and it's painted gold, and there's a sign under it that says Sarge, probably meaning the name of the rhino. So there is a rhino head for a rhino named Sarge in the lobby of an apartment building. Kind of strange. It was also very quiet in the apartment building itself. The leasing office and stuff were closed, which makes sense. They supposedly had a coffee bar there, which is now closed. Very interesting to see. But downtown Des Moines in general was pretty quiet, which was good to see. It makes sense. And I haven't looked at the latest stuff from Kimmy Reynolds about what came out today. I don't think anything too drastic has happened in terms of, oh my gosh, we need to shut the state down. It sounds like she might actually be opening the state up. Whether or not that's the right choice, I'm not entirely sure. But I'm not in charge, so that's not my decision to make, but that's okay. Anyway, what else did I do this weekend? I'm actually currently up in South Dakota visiting my girlfriend and spending the week up here. Why? Because, well, after 5 or 6 weeks of being on my own, it got a little boring. And it's nice to be able to see somebody else and spend like time interacting with somebody else outside of, oh, hey, the weekly FaceTime chat with my family, which is nice and all, but that's like all that I would do. And so, well, this is kind of boring. And neither of us like have to go anywhere for work. So it's like we can both work from home, and we're not going anywhere. We're not planning on going out anywhere and seeing anyone. So we are limiting the contact, definitely. So that's good. But got up here Saturday after helping Reese move. So fortunately, none of the stuff that he had was too heavy. So I wasn't too like fatigued for the drive up here, because like if your back is sore and then you have to get in the car for 5 hours. Yeah, that's not great. But what did we do once I got up here? So Saturday, we ended up watching a couple of movies. One of them was like a Netflix party. I don't have Netflix, so I didn't understand what a Netflix party was. But it turned out you can like joint and watch a movie and like have IM going on at the same time, which actually seems kind of handy. And it's not a huge strain on your network compared to like if you were doing a Zoom or Skype or something like joint and watching of something, which I would expect would slow down your network probably a lot. So this is probably doing a little bit better, so that's good. But 2 movies that we watched. Actually, the second movie, which I'm going to talk about first, is 10 Things I Hate About You. Oh my gosh, I have a slideshow for this, and it's wonderful. But I have not actually ever seen this movie until Saturday. So obviously the 2 main characters are Julia Stiles and played by Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger. And like the only Heath Ledger movie that I had seen was The Dark Knight, where he plays Joker. So that was very interesting. But you don't really get introduced to the characters much in terms of like having them say much about what they're going to like do in the movie. The first real character that you're introduced to is the character played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And again, this movie is from 1999. But look at how young he looks. Look at this boyish grin. Oh my gosh, he's smirking and he's playing like a high school something. Freshman, sophomore? I don't know. I don't know if the movie ever tells us. But he looks so young. He looks significantly closer to Angels in the Outfield than really anything else. For comparison, again, 10 Things I Hate About You came out in 1999. Angels in the Outfield came out in 1994. He looks so much younger, which I guess makes sense. Yeah, 5 years between, like, if you think about, like, okay, from, like, when you were 12 to, like, when you were 17, yeah, you're going to change a lot. But, oh, my gosh, he looks so small in this one. And if I go back, it's like, okay, yes, he looks grown up a little bit, but, yeah, he still looks very, very young. So I was like, oh, my gosh, it's, like, young Joseph Gordon-Levitt. What a surprise. And then, obviously, again, Angels in the Outfield 5 years earlier. That's fine. Next person I ran to was, oh my gosh, I already forgot his name. But his kind of accomplice, oh my gosh, that's not what we want. His accomplice in kind of like the whole thing is, oh my gosh, I forgot to say the actor's name. I don't want to look it up because it kind of like blows up on me if I do that. Somebody help me out. What's this actor's name? Oh, you know what? We'll just do that. That's going to be so much better. David Krumholtz. Oh my gosh. Why did I forget that? That's okay. Yep. So his kind of like compatriot and accomplice and such throughout the movie is played by David Krumholtz. And I'm sitting there for the first 15 minutes of this movie. Like, who is this guy and where have I seen him before? Why do I recognize him? Why is it bothering me so much? His voice is very distinct. Turns out he played Bernard in The Santa Claus. Oddly, also from 1994. But it's like, oh my gosh, that makes so much more sense. And it was so helpful. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Again, his voice, the way he spoke, it's like, yeah, this is so, like, 2 and 2 together. David Krumholtz makes tons of sense. His hair looks a little bit better in this one, though, I do think. I don't mind the fashion sense in the Santa Claus that he has, but the hair that he has in 10 Things I Hate About You, I think is significantly better. So that's good. And then, obviously, again, title character in 10 Things I Hate About You, main character, Julia Stiles. And, oh yeah, Santa Claus, definitely a classic. I like both 1 and 2. I don't really like 3. 3 is kind of like, whatever. No, 1 and 2 are very, very good. But for me, it's like, okay, Julia Stiles, what have I seen her in? What have I seen her in as well? It turns out she's Nikki Parsons in all the Bourne movies. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Derp. But felt a little bit more vindicated being like, okay, I know she's in this movie, but I forget what her character name was. So that was good. Looks like I'm a little bit loud. Am I a little bit loud? It feels like my sound bar is jumping up a little bit. So we're going to bring this down a little bit. That way I can talk like this, and hopefully it's not too loud. So that's good. I also had to take my pop filter off. So if that sounds a little strange, I apologize. But it was causing my mic arm to tip a little bit. But it's like, oh yeah, Nikki Parsons, Julia Stiles. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and it was so much better to like figure that out. Oh my, it's so much fun, isn't it, Abby? It's so much fun. But yeah, no, again, like who else is in this? Again, Keith Ledger. It's okay. I've seen this. Like I've only seen him in the Joker, and it's like, well, that's not anything close to like what he looks like in. Oh, this isn't gonna work. Oh no! That spoiler. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be fine. It's like, yeah, I mean, Heath Ledger doesn't look anything like this in the Joker. I mean, maybe a little tiny bit, but really not that much. But oh yeah, no, Gabby Union's in this. Yeah, it's like, whoa, all of these people. So that was fun. But briefly, as we've obviously seen, I said I don't remember what slide it was in, so we're just gonna jump back through it. But yeah, Baby Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Look at him. Angel in the Outfield is an underrated like baseball movie. It's super duper cheesy, but I really like it. And like, look at that California Angels hat. It's like, now they're the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Can't they just go back to the California Angels? They look so much better. It's like the C and the A of California, and you have the Angels, and you have the halo over the A. It's great. This is a very underrated hat, I think, and something that the Angels need to bring back because I really like it. It's simple, intertwined letters are really fun, and like you know what that one belongs to. It just works. David Krumholtz, Julia Stiles. But the other movie that we watched, which is the one we actually watched over the Netflix party, was Ghost Rider. Oh my gosh. Again, I don't think I've seen this movie in its entirety beforehand either. There's like, I've heard plenty about it. I've seen clips of it. I've heard the various jokes made about it, but I didn't really have a true appreciation of kind of how crummy of a movie this is. Because like, well, like again, it's based on a comic book and it's from like earlier 2000s. So it's like, well, you could maybe do something with it, but it's like, yeah, you're sitting in the opening credits and it's like, oh hey, this is a Marvel movie and you're getting the Marvel montage coming through. It's like, whoa, totally forgot that. But yeah, just not. Yeah, this is from 2007, so it's like, well, it's not that far removed from. I mean, Iron Man came out in 2008, so this is a year before Iron Man, and I think, like, compare Iron Man to this movie in terms of how they were done. I think I don't know if it was just Iron Man was just like bought into more because it's like, oh hey, this is a larger vision that we have. But oh my gosh, Iron Man I think is just heads and tails above this one, which is kind of unfortunate. But again, with Ghost Rider, we get infamous Nic Cage. Of course, this is just him being his like stunt motorcycle rider, which again, it's like, okay, I just like he was some guy on a motorcycle. Did not realize that he was like a motorcycle stunt driver. Like, oh, okay. So that was interesting. Of course, one time he like goes and jumps over 6 Hueys over the length of a football field. It's like, okay, I mean, sure, do that, whatever. But this is obviously the Nic Cage Ghost Rider that we're thinking of. It's like, look at the hair, look at the leather, all of the leather, so much leather. The coat, the pants, the glove, just the one glove. His other gloves are fingerless, or maybe he burned his hand out of this one. I forget. This is later in the movie, I think. But yeah, so much leather, so much black, and the hair needs some help. It really needs some help. But definitely fewer actors in this in terms of like, okay, where else have I seen this? I believe it was, who is the damsel in distress? I believe it is, yeah, it's Eva Mendes, who the main association that I have with her is from Fast and Furious 2, or Too Fast, Too Furious, which takes place in Miami. In this case, or in that movie, she is an FBI agent, and Ghost Rider, she is a helpless news reporter. I like her better in Too Fast, Too Furious, partially because I like Too Fast and Too Furious much better than Ghost Rider. This was, it was something to watch. And we watched it, which was fine, but no, definitely somewhat trashy Nic Cage movie, which is a little unfortunate, but now I can say I've seen it. Now I probably don't need to see it again. There is a sequel. I'm not sure if I'll watch it, but that's okay. Life will probably go on either way. And again, the sequel would have been made after like Iron Man got made. After, well, okay, Incredible Hulk could probably be like as a standalone film. It's like, it's probably fine, but I think I like Mark Ruffalo more than Edward Norton as Bruce Banner. Like Ruffalo, I think really grows into the role throughout the series, and it's very enjoyable. But it's like on a standalone, yeah, Edward Norton kind of makes it work. But it's unfortunate. It's like, well, now recast and everything with the Avengers and stuff. So whatever. But other thing that we watched was last night was The Last Dance, which again is episodes 3 and 4. Episodes 3 and 4 of the documentary series. So there are 6 episodes left. So this is still 3 more weeks to go through, which is a lot. But it'll maybe get us through quarantine. And the first couple of episodes last week were kind of focused on Michael and Scotty a little bit. But these 2 episodes, oh my gosh, I scrolled. That was a bad choice. Very sensitive scroll wheel. Be very careful with that. But now it's like, okay, this one they looked at Dennis Rodman a little bit, and they looked at Phil Jackson. Phil's attire in the movie was very interesting. Sometimes it was him in like a cowboy hat, and other times there was they had, I think this is like from when he was playing still, but yeah, he was in like overalls at one point, like a t-shirt and overalls. Like, okay, Phil, but he's from Montana, which I did not know, and he went to school in North Dakota. Did not know. It's like, okay, a couple of small schools, but we also got to look at Dennis Rodman. So again, this is Dennis Rodman with this kind of hair and that kind of hair and all these kinds of hair. And oh my gosh. Again, the main focus is the 97-98 season. I was 5 during it. And in February, Dennis Rodman, up and takes a mid-season vacation. And Phil Jackson was more or less kind of okay with it initially. It was like, okay, yeah, it's 48 hours. You go kind of do what you need to do to take a break from basketball. Scotty's coming back, so Michael and Scotty can figure some stuff out and then go from there. Rodman goes to Vegas for like multiple days, not like 48 hours there and back. And I was like, no, it was a long time. It wasn't like a week, but it was probably close to a week. So this was kind of scary. It's like, okay. Like, it's like, okay, Rodman was a bit of a character, but oh gosh. The stories, and a little bit of footage that they have from that, it's like, whoa. And again, pre-championship Bulls, I didn't really have an understanding. It's like, oh, Rodman was actually on the Pistons. That prevented the Bulls from really kind of winning the East for a while. It's like, well, this is something new. Definitely didn't know that, but they didn't really get into how Rodman, like the whole, like, okay, when they were going to bring him. They talked about it a little bit, but probably not as much as it deserves, and maybe they will later on. But there was not a lot of talk. Like, oh, hey, we're going to bring this guy in who's kind of beaten us up a few times and make him part of the team and make him kind of an integral part of it, especially on the defensive side. David is saying, is Phil overrated? Phil Jackson, probably not. He won a lot of championships. And again, you win 6 rings with the Bulls. That's a lot. So, I mean, maybe it's like, again, I don't know how he would do now. He's also getting up there in age and probably doesn't want to coach at all, and is probably quite content to just live on his ranch. But, I mean, 6 championships with the Bulls. I forget how many he ended up getting with The Lakers would have been 5. Was he there for all of Kobe's? That's 11 rings. That's more than fingers you have. That's a lot. So probably not overrated. And David, if this is what your hair looked like during quarantine, that's impressive. I don't know how you got all of that hair dye, but yeah, it's a lot. What else? What else did people do during the weekend? I don't have anything else. Oh boy, I'm gonna cough. That's not gonna sound. Sorry about that. How was everybody else's weekend? I know it's sunny here. It was pretty. I mean, drive had a lot of rain. That wasn't super fun, but it's good now. What else though? Yeah, oh, I guess some of these pictures of Robin's hair is like crazy. Getting 33s. That's a bull. That's Bert. Is that Bert or is that Ernie? That's Bert. Because Ernie would say, "Hey, Bert." That's Bert. That hair. Oh my gosh, crazy. But that's okay. What else, everybody? Huh? I don't know. We're gonna get away from Robin's hair because that's a lot. We'll go back to that. That seems a little bit more calm and not as jarring to suddenly look at. But what else? Oh, very, very, very quickly, because I don't want to talk about this a lot, because there's no reason that I need to talk about this. But the NFL draft has wrapped up. And, well, I don't fully understand what the Packers' plan was. I mean, we have needs. And, we could have gotten a wide receiver in the first round. There were a bunch of very good wide receivers. Could have traded up probably to like late middle of the round and gotten somebody decent. Probably would have been okay. I think we definitely need a linebacker. I don't think Blake Martinez is coming back, so probably could have picked somebody up there, and we did later in the draft. But the opportunity was there to try to do it in the first round as well. You can always get I think we probably needed an offensive lineman. Whether or not, I forget, like if both like the really good ones had been drafted by the time it came up to the Packers, but nope. I had kind of turned it off, like around like pick 20. Like, okay, whatever, it's fine. Packers are going to pick at 30, and they'll get somebody there. They'll be fine. Check back later that night. Nope, they traded up, and they drafted a quarterback. So why? Why would you draft a quarterback? And you're not drafting like one of the top ones. You're drafting Jordan Love from Utah State, which, and I'm not a Mountain West fan. I don't watch Mountain West football, but some of this doesn't sound great. It's like, okay, well, he's fine, but why are you drafting the quarterback with your first overall pick, or like your first round pick? That doesn't make sense. When you've got other things, and again, you made it to the NFC Championship game. You'd think you could get back there, but I don't know how drafting the quarterback is going to help you do that. So, yeah, that was strange. Oh, and then we drafted a running back round 2. That was a silly idea, I think, as well. We have running backs that we can play, and then there's probably going to be a running back that we could pick at some other point and do just fine with. But yeah, first round pick, let's get a quarterback. Second round pick, let's get a running back. Why? That doesn't make sense. But yeah, that wasn't great. So I think initially it looks like the Vikings had a pretty decent draft, so that's frustrating too. But what you gonna do? It's not my job. So there's my 2 or 3 minute rant about that. What else is going on? And now also, like, how does obviously, like, the transitions going backwards aren't great with, like, the PowerPoint and stuff, but it seems to look like it's okay. I mean, I'm not going to be like John Krasinski here and doing, like, some good news with, like, oh, hey, me, and, like, a transition as well of, like, different images and multiple cameras. No, we're not going to do that. I don't have a suit here. That won't work either, so that's okay. But this at least gives me, they're not as like laid out as my show notes have been in the past. It's like, oh, okay, it's stuff to talk about at least, so that's good. But what else? I've had like what? I've had two questions. One question. But and again, looking at the email from Gail from last week, Friday. Again, the emails that she sends out, they send out so late. 4 o'clock on a Friday Central Time. It's like 5 o'clock. Like nobody else, I don't know how many people are really on their computer looking at their email at that time on a Friday. So I don't know if this is like something that they just want us to have when we come in on Monday. But I would guess that most people have their inboxes sorted by new. So that's not going to be at the top because we're going to get other emails, especially if we come in after somebody that we work with who might send us an email. So and there's emails that come over the weekend. So that's definitely weird. But I think it will be interesting to see how we manage the transition back. I know that working from home has worked out very well. And it's been, I think for our department, most of the work has been possible to do. I know that Jeff has had trouble with Emblem. It's like it's taken a while to load. That stinks. And I don't know the way to make that work better from work from home. So it's like, okay, well, there's definitely going to be some going back into the office for that, which is fine. But we also aren't like relying on the stuff in the office to do our jobs. Like we don't have to print stuff off. And this is probably a good opportunity for the company as general to look at like, okay, how many, like, yes, we had to send printers off to different like people who work from home now, and you wonder how much those got used and what they got used for. Wow, this says I'm dropping a lot of frames. So yeah, that's been interesting. Yeah, okay. June 1st being like the first third coming back, and then no guests for at least 60 days after the point in which everybody comes back. So that's September, October. I think interns are now all going to be remote. I think, maybe. That's what I'm hearing from the recruiting committee. And if I shouldn't be saying that, I apologize, but probably helpful for us to know where our interns are going to be if we have to work with them at all. So they are probably there. Hopefully they all have a place to live and work productively, so we shall see. But definitely going to be interesting. And then things like, okay, come back, and then, well, you've got kind of half of summer, 2/3 of the summer left to kind of plan some stuff out, and it's going to be unbelievably crazy. Like, I've talked to my folks about the stuff that they have getting planned around them up in Door County, and there's festivals that are getting delayed and stuff. It's like the second half of the summer is just going to be crazy filled with stuff because you're still trying to fit everything in from like Memorial Day through June into July and August, which is on top of everything else that's already going on there.